Hello everybody, I hope you're having a good day today. What we are going to play around with today is Puppet Warp. We haven't done that yet, and some of you may have seen it when I was playing around with some stuff the other day. Thought it might be interesting for us to use today. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take this cute little puppy and we are just going to mess him up. There's no other way I can really describe that, but we're going to have some fun with Puppet Warp on here. Now the first thing I'm going to show you how to do, just because it's mentioned in the other tutorial and we haven't done it yet, is how to fill your background using the content aware function. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select my quick selection tool and I'm going to make a selection of this puppy here. Now I'm going to go ahead and hit Control J to make a copy of just the puppy. Now if I want to get that selection back, this is something we haven't done before either, if I hold down Control and I click on top of my layer there, it brings the selection right back. So now what I'm going to do to fill the background is I'm going to click on my background layer. I'm going to come up to Select, go to Modify, and I'm going to expand my selection. Now I can choose however many pixels I want to expand the selection by. I'm just going to go ahead and hit 4 to expand the selection a little bit, and you notice that my selection has moved into the blue background around the puppy. So now I can go to Edit, and I can go to Fill, and when I select Content Aware, if I hit OK, I'm going to make my second layer invisible. So here's my background layer. It completely removed the puppy, and it made just the background color there. So now I'm going to hit Control D to eliminate my selection, and now I'm free to use Puppet Warp on my puppy here. So I'm going to come up to Edit, and I'm going to select Puppet Warp, and what you're going to see is this mesh come over the object here, which is our puppy. So if I click up here on the very top where it says Show Mesh, I can actually remove or bring back the mesh part over there. This mesh is where I'm going to add pins to transform my image. Now you can still see a little bit of space in between the edge and the top of the puppy there. So if I take my expansion and change it to 0, it will be right on the edges. So you can change your expansion to 0. And if you would like to have more points or less points, that's in the density menu. If I click fewer points, I won't have as many triangles. If I click more points, I'll have a lot more triangles. So if I have Show Mesh selected and more points, you're going to have a lot of confusing area around here. So that's where you might want to click this off. You can still put your points in here without that active. So the points act as anchor positions wherever you select. So if I click on the puppy's ear here, these points allow me to transform the puppy. So if I click on this one, you'll see the gray dot inside is the active dot that you're using. If I click on just this part of the ear, I can drag it down. But you see how the rest of the puppy is moving? It's because I don't have anchor points on it. So I'm going to go ahead and hit my back arrow here to get rid of those points. I can put these points back in by clicking back in those spots. But this time I'm going to pin down some other areas of the puppy. So if I put some there, top of the head, along this ear. So now when I move this by selecting inside of it and clicking and holding down, I can move pretty much just that part of the ear because none of the other parts are moving. You can have as many points as you want, or you can also eliminate points. To eliminate a point, you hold down the Alt key over the top of a point and it turns into a pair of scissors, and you can cut that point out. Now what you just saw was a rotation circle. If I hold down Alt and I click and hold and I move, I can rotate around a single point. Now since I have so many anchor points, you're not seeing a large rotation in there. So you can use this to make it as realistic or as fake as possible. If I just wanted to droop the ears down a little bit, maybe I just put it there and then I save the image. But if I add a lot more points, I can put 2 on his eyes, and I can really expand his face and really transform that whole image. I can bring this side of the face out, bring that side of the face out. I can really deform this picture a lot by adding more points and moving it around. So you can have a lot of fun with this, or you can try to use it for realistic images. I also brought in a picture of this horse here, and I've already made the copied layer of my selection. So if I use Puppet Warp on this horse, I'm going to change my expansion to 0. And I can actually add some points into the legs of this horse. If I wanted to, I could try to change the position of the feet to maybe change the gallop. Now everything's kind of moving at once, so again, the more points you have to anchor down certain positions, the more believable it might be. I'm not saying this is the most believable horse in the world, but I'm just showing you what you can do with this tool. I can also change his head to move up. I can change the tail. Sorry, I jumped ahead a little bit there, but I can also use this on images of people too. So I have this picture of Chuck Norris that I've already pre-selected, and I can go ahead and go to Edit Puppet Warp. Sorry, wrong layer. Now Edit Puppet Warp. Bring the mesh in over Chuck. Change my expansion to 0. And now I can start adding some points. So say I wanted to move the positions of his legs. I can add these points in here. And maybe I just wanted to bend this bottom leg here a little bit. So there's a way where you can select more than one point. Say I select here, and I hold down Shift, and I select this point, and I select this point. If I click and hold on one, I will move all of those points at the same time. Now you can see I didn't anchor down his body, so everything's kind of changing. But I'm going to go ahead and click off some of those. So maybe I just want to angle this leg up a little bit. And then I want to bend the bottom leg. So what I'm going to do is click here, bend this leg in, maybe move the knee up a little bit, and I can change it from a standing position to what is now a kind of jumping position. Now again, I do understand it's not the most believable, but if I hit the check mark, you'll still see the general movement in his leg here. I can do the same thing to this Bruce Lee picture that I had. This one already has a pre-cut background out, so I can go to Edit Puppet Warp right from the start. And again, if I wanted to just bend this leg here, kind of click on these points, and I can click on the foot, kind of drag him in, and again, move the knee a little bit closer. Now again, he's moving because I didn't anchor him down, so I'm going to go ahead and anchor the rest of the body, and then I can kind of freely edit my leg here. And it's just kind of about finding the best balance of what you're trying to do. Again, not the most believable, but still can be changed around. So what you're going to do today is you are going to find 3 pictures that you would like to try to transform with Puppet Warp, and then submit them to Google Classroom. So have a little bit of fun with this. It doesn't have to be realistic like this. You can really take that puppy picture that we had in the beginning and deform it however you'd like, but just play around with it today.